Hello, my name is Lent, please you can call me Lent, and welcome to this video in which I will explain the creation of the Earth 1 in 1500 scale. And yeah, let's get right into it. The creation process can be separated in 5 parts. First, I need to get a high quality map, source map, and this needs to be in height-map format so that I can import it in World Painter. And previously I used the global relief map by the NOAA, and in this version I used the height map by NASA. And yeah, the reason why this is because NASA has a greater magnification. The NOAA's version has a different arc-minute sort of it's more accurate, I guess, but it's also lower resolution, and this time I download the greater resolution NASA map and downscaled it a bit, hopefully retaining more details. And yeah, to get it close to reality. And the NASA map had various problems. It's in the biggest ones are it's in a 16-bit grayscale map, and negative below C values wrap back to white. Now, if you probably don't know what a grayscale height map is, but it's basically just an image, black and white image, in which absolute black represents an absolute zero height and absolute white is a height of 255. And the way the colors work, well, you just have 255 shades of gray, white, and black. So this corresponds to Minecraft heights as well. And if below sea level wraps back to white, you can imagine that places like the Netherlands and Bangladesh, which are just very close to sea level and below it, would turn into mountains, which is of course very strange. So I needed to convert this, and I had the help of Tim Gefrerer, hopefully I pronounced that right, I'm not sure, who in my book is a data visualization genius, because he helped me with some guidance, and I converted the image using SOX, and this is a command line utility to convert music. And I guess it's sort of a raw data format. Images are kind of like music, because it worked, and yeah, I converted a map and I could import it, so it's absolutely great. Big thanks to Tim Gefrerer. And yeah, I would never have figured that out myself. And I guess this first step took about 3 hours, because it involved quite a bit of research and looking things up. And the second step is now that I have this grayscale height map that I could import into World Painter. Right out of the box it looks quite good, because it's sort of this great magnification, everything looks to be there, the general shapes are all clear. But once I put in an image overlay, a topographic map by NASA again, you can actually see where the coastlines are below sea level. And if you're going to reduce a 16-bit grayscale map to 8-bit, you lose detail, and sort of these colors are you get rounding differences. So values close to shoreline, like 1 meter above sea level, will probably be rounded down, meaning that all of a sudden it is at sea level. And when you look at it in an image editor, you see that everywhere along the coastline where there are no cliffs, you see that the coastline needs to be updated to actually be coastline again. And this is important because a lot of the cities and villages all over the world are located near water sources, whether it's sweet or salt water. And if I not drag these coastlines back out of the water, people who live in cities near coastline will get wet feet, and this will not be very nice for them. So this takes a lot of time to edit. And another thing that I want to include in this step is that I included rivers on this version of the map. In the previous version, it was a commonly heard point of feedback that people would appreciate rivers on the map. At this scale, you need to realize that most rivers are not deep enough or wide enough to actually show no rivers at all. Only river deltas were visible in version 1.0, and I decided not to do it back then for more realism. and this time I go more Minecraft playability. So yeah, I painted them on because they're a great reference. The rivers which I did paint on were just the major ones and the ones with a clear river delta on the topographical map, which include the Mississippi, the Amazon, the Nile, the Dnieper, Tigris, and a few more, I think 3 more, but they are all more in Russia and Europe side of the map. So there are rivers, and another thing that I included this time was lakes. There are a lot more lakes in Canada, and for those living in Finland, they'll be very glad as well, because the land of 1,000 lakes, well, it has not 1,000 lakes, but it has a lot more. Overall, everywhere are a lot more lakes now. So this is a big improvement. This is because World Painter updated. It's not the same anymore as it was a year ago, so I could do way more now. And so yeah, I think overall it's just a big, awesome update. And the next step is to paint on the soil layer. And this is tricky because it requires a lot of judgment calls, because looks can look very deceiving. Because you need to have in mind, I have this topographic map in front of me. I can see sort of where the deserts are, but the colors are not actually always representing the true color and sort of material which the ground is. And the great help in this is I just go to Google Maps and I apply the photo overlay, the geotagged photos, so I can actually let's say that I see sort of a more reddish hue in the Sahara, and I want to think, well, is this red sand or is it white sand? And then I just go to Google Maps, I zoom in on that part and look at the geotagged image, and sometimes it looks more red, and sometimes I think, well, okay, this is more white as red. So a lot of judgment calls, and Google Maps is a great help with this. Yeah, and the sort of how I decide which blocks I will use. There are two things factoring: playability and looks. Other than just, well, if I need to make a decision and there are several options, then I will look at it from playability and looks perspective. And well, I hope I made the right decisions in your opinions. And yeah, it's just as it is, I guess. I did sort of do borders between different soil materials be quite smooth, because, well, it is quite smooth in reality as well. Which brings us to the next step, which is painting on biome layers. And this is very different because I used a different overlay image. I used a biome distribution map by the WWF, and which I just overlaid over the map, and I started coloring within the lines, and which was absolutely, I love this part of the project the most, actually, because, well, it's just fun. Well, yeah, I tried to put in as much realism as possible while also implementing all sort of the biomes, well, at least most of them. And so take, for example, a biome called tropical grass plains and savannas. Tropical implies warmth, and grass plains is, of course, mostly related to savanna biome in Minecraft. But this does mean that Louisiana, along the coast, has a savanna biome as well on this map, which is actually great fun for variation, for gameplay inside of Minecraft on this map. But it does look quite African, which is odd to see in the US. And another thing which you probably well, there's this biome called mangroves. You see it a lot along the equator. You see sort of these little dots on the map where there's swamp biome. But this is not the only biome which I decided should be swamp, because there's also the wetlands biome, flooded plains wetlands biome, and which is also most closely related, in my opinion, to swamps. So this is the only biome which actually, mangroves and wetlands are actually the same biome in Minecraft. In my opinion, this is the only overlap, and the other ones are just, yeah, closely related to a Minecraft version. one biome which you might not directly guess was a decision mostly to just include all the different things that can be in Minecraft. Is the roofed oak biome, is the Mediterranean biome. Yeah, you might not guess it directly, but I think it's very fitting and works very well also with sort of biome transitions. And there are a lot of smaller eco-regions on the world where there's just a small part with different biomes, so it's really nice, it's really cool. And the last step in the process is of course exporting and sort of the things after that. Exporting time took me about 4.5 hours, and the map I needed to create about 100 billion blocks, something more, some change. I think it's, from the top of my head, it's like 130 billion blocks. Because you keep the surface of the map is 32,000 by 16,000 blocks roughly. It's a bit more, and so yeah, it takes its time to actually export. And after that, I had to make a new GPS to in-game coordinates converter formula. Which I think is one of the most important features of this map, is that you have this converter, and you can actually make a connection between real world and the Minecraft terrain. And yeah, it took some brain hurt to get that working again as well. And yeah, that was sort of the final step, sort of wrapping it up. In this creation process, World Painter was absolutely indispensable. I've used it a year ago, and I used it again today. It's absolutely the best tool out there for Minecraft terrains on sort of a macro scale, to create such terrains. So if you've never used World Painter, I use it a lot. I know a lot about it. It's a sort of a very specialized height map editor with some. I guess it adds extra metadata. You can see it as that to a height map and actually create the map. So. Yeah, big shout out to World Painter. It's an awesome tool. If you have never tried it and you are interested in Minecraft terrain, you should definitely check it out. And big thanks to the creator of the tool, Captain Chaos. And of course also the data from NASA, the height map and the topographical overlay which I used were absolutely indispensable in this process as well. And also to Frerer for helping me get converting the height map into a usable format. And you can check him out on Twitter as well. He also has a blog with other data visualization things, sort of art. Yeah, I'll put a link in the description as well to his blog. You can check it out. He does some very cool visualization things. Yeah, also want to thank Yorkhead for helping me create the web plugin for the converter, so to make it more convenient for everybody to use it. And I want to thank Chunker for assistance with setting up the torrent seed box, so makes downloading easier as well for people, because I had some complaints about Mega as an upload as a distributor as well. So that concludes this video. I hope you will very much appreciate this map. I've put a lot of time and effort into it. I guess it might go unnoticed to most people, but it is quite the work of passion. And yeah, I very much hope that you appreciate it. I'd love to hear feedback. If you have suggestions for version 2.1 or for even a different version, because there are a lot of different ways you can create the world, create the earth. So yeah, leave them down below in the comments, and I love to read them, and maybe I'll make another version. The individual continents I will create later as well. I just need to re-export the individual continents of the map, and I'll publish those as well soon. And that concludes this video, and yeah, thank you for watching. Have an awesome day.